Hello again, welcome back to the potting shed. Today I want to talk to you about the rubber plant, or Ficus Elastica. Now I've made a couple of videos about my rubber plant. As you can see behind me, I've had to put it right at the back of shot because it's got so tall now I can hardly fit it in the shot. The natural habit of rubber plants is just to go straight up, long and thin, and you'll often see them sold like this, or maybe they get sold like this and then they just keep going and going. So they can be a little bit awkward to keep, because what invariably happens is they get taller and taller and taller, and then they start to lean over looking for the light, which is generally the case unless you're spinning them every few days to try and keep them even. They'll start to lean over. This one certainly has. If you see, it's leaning over that way, and I've spun it round several times, but it has started leaning over, and invariably they end up toppling over because they're just too tall for the amount of base of pot that they've got. Now I have actually repotted this into a bigger and wider pot, so it's a bit better, but still, I mean, it's personal preference, but I think a more bushy rubber plant is better than something that just goes straight up. I suppose it depends on your living space and what you want out of your plant. Sorry, got a reminder on my phone. Should have put that on silent. So it depends what you're looking for. But personally, I think these look much better with a much more bushier habit. And what you can get quite easily is some bottom shoots coming out from here and here, and you can really create a really nice bushy looking plant. And personally, I think that's going to be a better look than the one long thin shoot. Now there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can nip out the top growing tip, and that will send side shoots. There's already one from here, and there's a couple around the base already. So you can do that if you want to keep the height. If you're happy with the height like this, then the easiest thing to do is cut out the growing tip. Let me show you. I'll just bring this down here. Now, are you going to be able to see that? Probably not. So the growing tip is in here. The sun's all over the shop today, I apologise. And then if you just chop this out of the centre, that's the next leaf that's going to unfurl. You pull that out, chop it with some scissors. Let me see. We can do this now, shall we? So I'm just going to chop that out. That sends a signal to the rest of the plant that the growing tip's been cut off, and then it's going to send energy in the peripheral buds, so the ones lower down at different plant nodes. Now, if you're going to do this, it's worth noting that the rubber plant emits a form of latex, which is where the name comes from, Ficus Elastica, or rubber plant, because originally this was used in the production of rubber. It isn't anymore, but it is a form of latex, and this can be a bit of an irritant. So if you're doing this, just be aware that it's going to come out, and if you've got cuts or you've got sensitive skin, it could potentially irritate your skin. So just be aware. If you get any on your skin, wash your hands afterwards, or wear gloves if you're worried about it. Certainly keep it out of reach of children and animals. So that's one way of doing it, just chopping it back there, and just have something to wipe that up if you need to. The other thing you can do, let's see, there we go. The other thing you can do is be a lot more drastic and reduce the height. Now personally, I think that this is going to look better as a shorter plant. So I think I can really reduce the height of this and get a lot more bushy side stems coming out and encourage a lot more side growth. And it's not only that the side growth will be here, because there are already side shoots, they're just not doing very much, but as soon as you cut it down, the plant understands that the main growing trunk has been removed, and it will put the energy, the growing energy, into those side shoots, so they will grow a lot faster. Now we're in springtime here in the UK, so it's a perfect time to be doing things like this, because they have the entire of the growing season through spring and summer and early autumn to actually recover and send new, I'm just looking at my hands, so I've got any of that stuff on my hands, to send new side shoots out. So that's what I'm going to do. I think there is a side shoot here. I think that's a good place to start, and that's really short. That's like 3/4 of it, but I think that would be a nice place to start, and that will send a lot more side growth out. So you can choose wherever you want. If you only want to take the top section off, that's fine. If you want to go for halfway and be really drastic, that's also fine. Just do it below a plant, just below a leaf node, where the leaf comes into contact with the main stem. That is where you're going to get new shoots coming from. So just below a leaf, if you do a diagonal cut as well, then you can cut it off like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go further down, because I've got a side shoot there and I want to go much shorter. So I'm going to do a diagonal cut just above that, because the side shoot is already there. There we go. So this is a huge offcut. Now you can actually try and propagate this into some water. You can see the latex is coming out now. You can try and, I'm in the potting shed, it can do what it likes. But you can try and propagate this into some water. Take the lower leaves off. Okay, I don't want to get covered in it. Okay, take the lower leaves off, stick that into some water. It's a pretty big cutting, to be honest with you. It's probably better. You could try it with something this big and it might work, but there's an awful lot of plant to try and sustain. All of this is energy that the cutting will have to try and sustain from the word go, so it's a lot more pressure. So what you could actually do is chop this into 3 or 4 sections just below a leaf on each point, and you could actually have 3 or 4 cuttings out of this one piece, put them in water, leave them until roots start growing in the water, and then you can plant it up into some soil, give it plenty of water to begin with the first few weeks, and wait until those roots establish. Keep it out of the direct sun, in a bright position but no direct sun. Just get those roots established, and then you can have a load of new cuttings. But we'll do a specific video on making cuttings out of rubber plants on another video, so subscribe if you're interested in seeing more videos on the rubber plant. But in the meantime, we're just going to be talking about cutting it back and making it more bushy. So there we are, that's the offcut. Now we have quite a stumpy looking plant that's a lot easier to deal with. We've already got a side shoot that started there, and that will just take off now, and there are some lower shoots here as well that will also take off. 1, 2, 3, 4 side shoots already, and that will run away, and I think we'll have a much nicer looking, more rounded plant in general out of that. And yeah, I'll keep you posted. I'll do another update in a month or so once this has bushed out, and we'll see the progress, and you can see what you think, whether I was right to cut it down from a long tall one or whether it looks better as a bushier house plant. So there we have it. In fact, there's quite a few side shoots coming out of here. I think this will back bud very well. So there we are, that's it for now. Try it out yourself if you've got a problem rubber plant and you don't know what to do with it. Maybe give it a chop, and generally these sorts of things really invigorate the plant and send a lot more energy into the plant. Give it a bit of fertilizer and watch it shoot away over the next few months. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks very much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it useful, and I will catch you very soon on another video. Bye for now.